Today I just want to make a quick response video. It was about a year ago I uploaded my video titled "Christians Don't Defend Christianity." If you want to prove that the Bible is true, prove to me that Yahweh exists, not just some great value God. Prove to me that Jesus Christ existed and did the things that the New Testament said that he did. Prove to me that the 66 books in the Bible are divinely inspired, and that the hundreds of non-canonical biblical books aren't. Prove to me that the universe is less than 10,000 years old. Prove to me that all of these celestial bodies are the same age, the stars, planets, and galaxies. Prove to me that every species of animals and every species of plants originated at the same time. And prove to me that Christian prayer and Christian faith have supernatural abilities. If you want to prove to me that the Bible is true, those are the points that you have to prove at bare minimum. And if you can't meet my challenge and you can't answer these questions, why are you a Christian? 1 year and 1,100 views later, not a single Christian has taken up my challenge at the end of that video. However, a few days after I uploaded the video a year ago, there was this one guy who left a 1,103 word comment on my video, both on YouTube and where I shared it on Facebook. It was 12 paragraphs long, and when I first saw it, when he first left this comment, I thought, dang, this guy must have actually taken me up on my challenge. He must have at least tried to prove that Christianity is true. But no, he did not. He just went on for 1,103 words doing everything except defend Christianity. So I didn't reply to him. It really wasn't worth my time. That's not what my video was about. My video was straight up challenging Christians. I had a challenge with a bunch of questions at the end of my video, and he didn't bother with that, so I didn't bother with his comment. But just a few days ago, I got another comment from this guy on the same exact Facebook post, and I'll read it for you. This just popped on my timeline again. I find it interesting that you issue a challenge and accuse people of being unable or unwilling to respond to your arguments. Almost a year later, and there is no response from you. I guess the tide flows both directions. I replied saying, "No, I issued a challenge and you didn't even attempt to answer any of the questions. Your entire comment goes left field right out of the gate. Here are the challenges if you actually do want to take a swing at it." And I included a screenshot from my video. But just to give him some satisfaction, I'm going to respond to his comment. His first paragraph is just casual pleasantries. In the second paragraph, he defends Christians who refer people to their pastor or resort to sending articles from the internet. I never said that referring someone to your pastor or someone more knowledgeable or even an internet article, I never said that was a problem in itself. What I said the problem was when someone initiates a conversation or someone initiates an argument and they have no intention of actually defending their position themselves. Instead, they go into the conversation or they go into the argument knowing that they're just going to refer you to someone else or refer you to an internet article. That's what I said the problem was. And that's not just a problem if you're a Christian, that's a problem for anyone. If I was doing the same thing, if I was starting an argument with a Christian over the validity of the Bible and all I did was refer you to Shannon Q or Mr. Atheist or Apologia, or if I just started sending you articles from, atheism.com, I don't know if that's a real website or not, but if I was just doing that, then that's not worth your time. And that's exactly what a lot of Christians will do when they start an argument or a conversation with me. I have no interest in that. I don't have an interest in talking to someone that's not even going to defend their position. And that's not even the point I was making in the video. The point was, if all you can do to defend your belief is recommend someone to an Answers in Genesis article or your pastor, do you really believe in the Bible or do you just believe in Ken Ham or, your preacher? There's nothing wrong with referring someone to someone else that's more knowledgeable than you if you're just in a normal conversation. The problem is only if you're the one initiating the argument with that expectation of doing that. That's annoying. That's a nuisance. You are a nuisance. Just stop. In the third and fourth paragraph, this guy tries to defend faith by redefining it. Anytime I use the word faith, I am using the Bible's definition of faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. It's the conviction of things not seen. That is blind faith. The Bible is describing blind faith. And no, it's not reasonable. He also spends the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th paragraph rambling on about me asking for the wrong kind of evidence. I didn't ask for any specific type of evidence in my video. I didn't specify any type of evidence. All I asked for was proof of the fundamental claims of the Bible. I didn't specify what that proof could be. Proof could be anything as long as it's reasonable, logical, demonstrable, as long as it's sufficiently reliable or demonstrable, through logic or simple, presentable evidence or anything. I didn't ask for God's face on a platter. That sounds terrible, but I didn't ask for that, Proof is proof. In the 7th paragraph, he does address the historicity of Jesus. So hey, he at least mentioned one of my challenges, although he put little to no effort into it. He mentions that Pliny the Younger and Tacitus both referenced Jesus. Yes, that's sort of true. In Pliny the Younger's letter to the emperor, he describes what Christians believed and practiced and who they worshipped. Christ. And Tacitus more or less does the same thing. He describes a group of Christians who worship the one they call Christ. Now, both of these examples are proof that Christians existed in the 2nd century. They are not proof that the Jesus Christ described in the Gospels actually existed. Now, I'm not saying that there was no historical Jesus. I think that there probably was. And I definitely hope that there was, because I'm a pretty big fan. But everything we find, and especially the fact that we don't find much of anything at all, goes against what we would expect to find if the Gospels accurately described Jesus. If he was actually this man who performed miracles, amazing miracles, in front of thousands of people, multiple times. And if he was actually as well known among the royal leaders and all of these important figures, there should be a lot more written about him. There should be a lot more accounts of his life and the things that he did. And not only should there be a lot more, but they should also be a lot closer to the time that the events were actually supposed to take place. If the Jesus Christ in the Gospels actually existed, we shouldn't have to resort to historians in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th century referencing the fact that Christians worship Christ. But anyway, that's all I'm going to get into about that right now. I've gone in too far. Let's move on. In the 8th paragraph, this guy is saying that it's pointless for me to ask for proof of Yahweh if I won't accept that a God exists. He says it's no wonder they keep making ontological arguments with you. I never argue with people over whether or not a God exists. There very well may be a God. I don't know that. I never say that a God doesn't exist. And if I'm arguing with a Christian, I am more than happy to grant, for the sake of argument, that a God or a higher power exists. All they have to do is prove that it's Yahweh and prove that the Bible is true. But they can't do that. And also, it's not just me who Christians get hung up on great value gods with. It's anyone. It's with themselves in their own churches. I was a Christian for 17 years, man. I went to church, Bible studies, gospel meetings, Bible camps, and you know how many times they went over the proof that Yahweh specifically exists? None. Never. Not once. But time and time again, they would go over the ontological argument, the teleological argument, the cosmological argument, and all of the other arguments for a great value God. Was that because none of the Christians had agreed that there was such a thing as a God? No. They all believed in a God, and they all believed that God was Yahweh. So there was no obstacle keeping these pastors and these apologists from going over the proof for Yahweh specifically. The reason they were stuck on the great value God arguments wasn't because there was some obstacle. It was because that was all they have. So don't pretend that because I am not convinced that a greater power exists, Christians are just holding back their arguments for Yahweh. I'm not putting the cart before the horse. You just don't have a horse. The great value God arguments are all that Christians know. They're all that they have, and they just assume or pretend that those are good enough to prove that Yahweh exists until someone points it out to them. I know this because I used to be the same way, and so were all of the preachers and apologists I listened to, as well as my Christian peers that I would have discussions with. In paragraphs 9, 10, and 11, he goes on some more about how faith is a big brain thing, and that I'm asking for the wrong kind of evidence. No, dude, I just asked for proof. Proof is proof. And he also goes on a spill about how NASA astrophysicists have faith in their astrophysics, so that means it's okay for him to have faith in the Bible, I guess. I don't know. And then we finally get to the last paragraph, paragraph 12, and this one is just beautiful. He says, "It's a shame that you have been met with hostility. I close with my own challenge for you. If one or two people have treated you with hostility and anger, then it is fair to say it's them. But if several or many people treat you this way, it is also fair to ask, how am I coming across to them? Am I purposely pushing buttons? Maybe it's me." You know, I've heard a lot of Christians say this, and not just to me. I've seen it on the internet. I've heard other people tell me they've heard it from Christians. If you're being met with hostility, if you're being treated maliciously, maybe you should try showing people some more respect. Maybe you're the problem. Christians refuse to accept the fact that sometimes, a lot of times, they're the bullies. They want so badly to be the victims. They victimize themselves. You know, the world's against them, despite the fact that Christians are literally the largest group of people in the world. I'm sorry, but you are the bullies in most cases. You are the ones harassing other people, threatening other people, demonizing other people. You kick your teenagers out of your homes because they're gay, because they're trans, because they're atheist, because they're going to the wrong Christian denomination. I've seen all of this happen in my local area. You disown your children, you disown your parents, you disown your siblings, you end meaningful friendships, relationships, marriages, you destroy your family, you excommunicate someone from your social circle. You do all of this because they no longer share your specific worldview. This has nothing to do with how respectful or disrespectful they are. You know, ever since I left Christianity, I haven't initiated conversations or arguments about religion with anyone except a few family members, a few close friends. I don't go out of my way to talk to people about religion. Almost every single time I've had a conversation or had an argument with a Christian about Christianity, it's been them who initiated the conversation or the argument. Even online, it's been the same thing. I don't message someone about religion, you know. I don't comment on someone's post about Christianity unless it's a couple of really annoying people that I have a few times, but they're family too, so that's an exception. But for the most part, you know, for the vast majority of every conversation or argument I've had with a Christian person, it's been them who initiated it. I don't care to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk to people about religion all the time. I make these videos so that I don't have to. I don't make these videos because I don't have someone to argue with, so I just got to put it out there, you know? No, I make these videos to avoid that. I make these videos because there were so many people arguing with me that I thought, well, hey, if people want to argue with me, if people want to misrepresent what I'm saying when they're gossiping about me, I'll just put what I have to say out there so, you know, there's no debate about what I think or what I've said. Here it is, you know. I don't want to argue with people. I don't want to insult them or disrespect their beliefs. That's not what I'm doing here either. I don't think that Christians are stupid or evil for believing in Christianity. I can empathize with Christians because I used to be a Christian. I understand what it's like to believe in Christianity and what it's like to be a Christian and practice Christianity. It's more often than not, 99.9% of the time, the Christians that are arguing with me don't know what it's like to not be a Christian. They can't empathize with my position. And so when someone is calling someone evil or stupid for believing something, it's the Christians accusing me. And I would never disown a family member or a friend because they believed something. That's what Christians do. That's what so many Christians have done, not only to me, but to dozens and dozens of people that I know, and hundreds of people that I know online. Now, you could blame every example of someone being hostile towards me on my YouTube channel. You know, oh, well, I'm outspoken and that's disrespectful and that's enough to justify someone being hostile or threaten my life, you know, because that happens too. But all of these other people I could tell you about, all of these other people in North Alabama I could tell you about, who have been disowned by their families for no longer being a Christian or for going to a Baptist church. None of these people are outspoken like me. Some of them try to be as silent as possible. It's just that they quit going to church that their family has disowned them, not because they've argued with someone. Even my own wife has been disowned by her family because she doesn't go to church anymore. She's not argued with them. She's not disrespected their beliefs. She just doesn't share their beliefs. And that's enough for them to have nothing to do with her. The problem isn't that every ex-Christian is a disrespectful prick. The problem is that most Christians are heartless, apathetic bigots. The reason I didn't reply to this guy's comment a year ago was because his comment is garbage, and excessively long garbage at that. And the bit at the end is just so disrespectful and ignorant that I didn't feel like it deserved a response. I had completely forgotten that his comment ever existed, but I'm glad he came back and reminded me of it. Because when I saw it a year ago, I just rolled my eyes and moved on. I didn't realize until he came back and commented again the other day how perfectly his comment vindicated my entire video. Out of all of my videos, this guy commented on Christians don't defend Christianity. In that video, I call out Christians for engaging with non-Christians and doing everything other than defend Christianity. And at the end of the video, I challenged Christians to defend Christianity. And then this guy, in his comment on that video, spends 12 paragraphs and 1,103 words doing everything other than defend Christianity. It's kind of poetic, and that's all that I really have to say about it. I appreciate his comment, though, looking back on it now, because as horrible as it is, it makes my Christians Don't Defend Christianity video 1,103 times better.